Welcome to Epiphanies, Jesus Revealed in Our Lives. I'm Pastor John Paulson, and with me today is Shannon Fagarhaug, parent, nurse, and more recently a county auditor overseeing an election in a very interesting time. So Shannon, who first introduced you to Jesus?
Actually, Jesus was kind of always in our household. I grew up Catholic outside of Sioux Falls, and we went to a Catholic grade school, Christ the King in Sioux Falls. So obviously within school, we had a lot of emphasis on religion, with having a religion class, and also going to church pretty regularly throughout the week, as well as on the weekends. And truthfully, my love of the church and religion came a lot through the priests that would come through our school. And the monsignors. We had really good relationships with a lot of them that would come in and visit us in class. And, they were kind of the figures that we looked to for any kind of, presence within that area, within the church, and, being involved and sense of community. And so that's probably where it all began from there. And it just kind of has always been a part of my life from that point.
In what ways has Jesus shown up in your life since then?
Well, there's been so many ways, obviously. I think back to just decisions within my life that have led me to where I am today. So even my choice of where I was going to go to college, I had a couple different options. I ended up where I did. Past that, my choice of a career to be a caregiver, that was, where I think Jesus maybe stepped into my life and pushed me toward that direction, in joining the family that I happened to join through marriage and creating the family I'm creating today. I just feel like Jesus is speaking through so many ways of my life, things that I appreciate doing, like singing and worshiping through song, and doing that within our house and our family, to what we do when we're home, which is to be on horseback, out in the pasture with cattle surrounding, that you can't get any closer to Jesus than that. I just feel like in the land that we live in the foothills of Wessington Springs, there's no way that you can be almost in a better place than that.
You spent several years as a nurse. Can you recount any specific instances where Jesus showed up, either in the people you were working with or maybe in your own helping them?
Yeah. Every day. Obviously, I worked for a Catholic system, working for Avera for 15 years, and so they have a mission that they stand on, and that's a very strong mission within the Avera system. Every day we had a team meeting and led every morning off with a prayer. So that was a good opportunity to kind of ground us and get us thinking about why we were there and who we were doing our work for, which of course was for Jesus and for God. And so, little things throughout your care, you would see that they could only be happening because of a presence and a sense of faith. And even if it came down, there were many situations where there were extremely, hard situations to get through, some life-threatening, but simple things as in just visiting with a patient about their life, getting to find something that you had a commonality with them, so you could just feel like they were able to lean on you if they had other things that, maybe weighing on them at that point. Just allowing them to have someone that would listen and maybe just give them a sense of calm, or things would be okay, and that we were there to, make it better for them. That, I think, is another way that Jesus worked through me to heal, because I really enjoy doing that. I find that I enjoy finding an area where I can help people, through other ways than just by healing or by giving them medicine or what have you. And then them, approaching me with things, telling me things that have happened to them and ways that they've maybe had Jesus show up in their lives. And I had amazing coworkers that were so involved with the mission within Avera, but also involved outside of work, in their churches and their youth groups. And, it's just that helps fuel your fire to, being involved is as much as you can and allowing yourself to be present in all situations and be the best person you can be.
Jesus told his disciples, whoever helps one of the least of these helps him. What does that mean to you as a nurse as you look back at the different people that you've helped?
You know, everybody needs something in their life, whether it be physically or mentally or spiritually. But if you can see them as, you know, someone that you're helping and someone that needs that presence along with, you know, and in turn it helps you, you know, as a caregiver and allows you to be, you know, to be present with them. But I know, like as with Jesus, he had times when he needed help himself. And, you know, so if you can, like you say, put Jesus' face on them and realize that they're helping you as much as you are helping them, and it's a relationship that's kind of special because it's so vulnerable at that point, you know, whether it be, like I said, physically or mentally or spiritually. Everything is usually vulnerable at that point. So
You're also a parent of 2 children. How has Jesus shown up in that part of your life?
Well, he shows up through my children on a daily basis. I'm always amazed by their, you know, how much they're in tune to what they've learned in church and, you know, applying some of those stories that they've learned on their everyday life. And, you know, some of those just little reminders throughout the day that, you know, everyone's bringing that back out and understanding how that relates to what they're doing, whether they be 8 years old or, you know, 60 years old, you know. So, yeah, they enjoy singing their Sunday school songs, and that's kind of a fun thing to have in the house, and they enjoy reading their Bible stories once in a while. It allows you to kind of live back through them and you know, bring everyone back to what we enjoyed about the Bible and their favorite stories and talking about, you know, Jesus' presence throughout those stories and what that meant at that time and what that could mean today, and, you know, the little bit of a difference in obviously that amount of time. But, you know, I guess some of being a parent, and this relates exactly to Jesus, is that sacrifice. You realize as you get older and the things that maybe you enjoyed doing and now you're teaching your children to do and allowing them to do, you know, you're sacrificing. Like when I really enjoy to do the rodeo events, as I'm sure everyone knows, but we get to do less and less of that anymore, and now we allow our children that time to come and learn and teach and do, and it's, you know, it's all worth it in the end. But you realize how much, you know, you have to sacrifice as you give them the time to grow into the people you want them to be, or allow them to be anyway. So,
Shannon, you took on the role of county auditor at a time when we had a very contentious election going on and a pandemic. How did Jesus show up in the midst of all that?
you know, I can't say I saw a lot of Jesus throughout the actual election and the media and all the hype behind it. And where Jesus came out for me is within my own quiet times. And, you know, I needed my faith through that, because obviously, as you know, that election was a beast. A lot of them are. We had, you know, great people that helped get through all of that. I have a wonderful deputy. I have great community members that helped at the polling place, and all of us had to come together to make this one work, because of course we didn't want to have to do it twice. That was the main thing. But to ground me again on what I know, where my faith is at, because there was so much thrown in your face throughout this election, you know, on different opinions and ways that things can go, and you didn't know what was going to happen and the uncertainty of it, what to believe. COVID thrown in the middle of all of that, you know, so it helped to come to church on a weekly basis and sit and listen to sermons and listen to the readings and remind myself that there's a greater presence out there that we can rely on, especially when we're feeling overstressed and unsure of our way as we go forward throughout, you know, this crazy world as we know it right now, and that we have something that we can lean against, that we know will be there and will be a consistent presence in our life. And that's probably where I felt Jesus most through all of this, is just to help me kind of maintain that sense of grounding and presence on where I was at, I guess. So,
Thank you, Shannon, for sharing your faith story, your Jesus stories with us. This has been Epiphanies, Jesus revealed in our lives.